Oh, and they disappeared? Ah.
Yeah, if you
So,
sent another email, give people a moment if you can.
yeah, I did send an email out, at least to the people that, the new people, so we'll see. But yeah, I could do a couple of things beforehand that aren't. In fact, what was it? Someone asked me to do the words first because sometimes they get in late, they don't want to miss the music. So maybe in reference to that, deference to that, hi, Ev, I'll do the words first. So these are the words of the week. Let me share with you. Words of the week. And I especially love words that have lots of vowels in them because they're great for some of the word games that I play. Of course, this is a great word for Scrabble too. Iwi, I-I-W-I. You can't get more I's in a four-letter word. Hawaiian honeycreeper with a long down curved bill. Love that. I thought this was a misspelling, arresting. It's reesting, which is to when a horse stops or refuses to go. It's a Scottish term, and I guess it's used in the horse community. I don't know. Lambency, numinous. These are all just great words. Hurly burly. Whist. Now, there used to be a game when I was a kid called Whist. Maybe it's still
Right.
around. I had no idea that it actually was in fact the archaic way of saying to know.
I
Someone
see
would say,
flume there, Andrew. That's a word I recognize, but there's a place in New Hampshire called the Flume, which
Mm.
is a tourist attraction, which has, of course, channels of what's described here. So
yes.
that's a word that may be more common to other people as well.
Yeah, and it actually comes from the Latin fluere, which means to flow. So that makes sense. Bister, I thought was a misspelling of blister, but it's actually a dark yellow brown pigment. Now, this is the one musical term, motet, a short piece of sacred choral music.
Mhm.
I'm
Mm.
sure Steve Kevel would know more about that. Uh, these are just some interesting words, especially for crosswords. Dahi yoga is Hindu for curds. Kali is Hindu for black, and so the goddess of time and doomsday and death is Kali. Werf I've never heard, but I guess it's a Dutch word for a homestead on a hill. Jira is a Hindi version of cumin. Is another good word with eyes. Inti, a monetary unit of money. Oh, we're almost done. Sorry. Um, yes, that's a good. Not as many words this week as in the past, but now I've heard of something being posh, but I've never heard it used as a verb. So there's people talk about poshing somebody up, smartening them up. I'd never heard that.
Hmm.
Um, Frap, but this is not a frap as you and I think of a drink spelled with PE at the end, but this is to bind tightly. Now, potash, I was thinking about that, and sure enough, it actually is, a potassium based thing that originally was made by taking wood ash and soaking in a pot of water, and that's why it was called potash. And as you may know, that's a very common thing today and used in a lot of fertilizers. And I'm sure it's made differently now. It's synthesized differently, but the fact that it used to be made that way, and that's why it's called potash, I thought that was kind of fun. Swale, marshy place. I'm sorry, there's missing some letters here. And panier, this is interesting. As you know, Yulica, probably it comes from the word in French for bread,
Yeah.
pane.
Well,
And
actually, panier with one N, same word except just with one N, means basket.
oh,
Any
it does.
basket.
Okay,
Yes,
interesting.
yes.
So, and this is a case where this particular word is for a basket on each side of an animal or a bicycle,
Ah,
or a part of a skirt looped around the hip. I'm not sure why that's also true. But I'm wondering if originally because maybe they were bread baskets, maybe they were
I
meant to be
bet.
baskets for bread. So, anyway, those are the words of the week. And then Steve was going to join us later, but I thought, why don't we show this now? Let me share this screen. This is actually, let me share my screen because I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm going to share my screen so you'll see me for a second, and then I'm going to show you. Did you see Steve's note to me?
Yes.
Okay, so now he's given us an 11 character word merge, and the clues are Mr. Arnold and phraseology equals blessing. And because it's 11 letters, oh my God, that's so hard to do. He gave us, he did give us some hints. So acknowledge, indications, mesmerizing, fabrication. And he told me that a friend of his wrote this for him. I don't know why he needs to have this as a separate game because he's already got the word merge, but for some reason he's now got a custom made just for him, which I thought is pretty cool.
But 11 letters actually perhaps makes it easier. You might try diction for the second clue and benediction, which is 11 letters for the word itself.
Oh my God, I think you've already solved it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, that was quick.
Good for you.
I don't
Because
know what they
I did
did.
not think Benedict Arnold. I thought Schwarzenegger for some reason. But you're right. It's Benedict, and benediction is the answer. Well, that was the easiest one ever. We'll have to give you the first class award for that one.
Yeah, good
So,
work, John.
good for you. So for those of you that didn't know that, can I reloop it again? I wonder if I could start it over again. So he had us using words like, and I was trying to get them both on the same page. Let's see. Oh shoot. Oh no, did I lose it? No, here it is. Okay, let me move this. I don't know if you guys can see your pictures up here too. I'm going to remove that. Okay, so he said acknowledge. Indications. Sorry. Mesmerizing. Oh, there's an S in there. I don't know if I can change.
MES.
I guess I can't change it. I have to go all the way back. Mesmerizing. So now you can see these are the first letters are in the right place. Fabrication. And then he had beneficiary. This kind of gives it away, I think.
Yeah, that should fill in a lot.
Yeah, because you'll
There
basically
you
you
go.
have
Yeah.
you have just this missing letter. You have benefit and benefiction. So then you can figure out it must be a D, right? Benediction. There you go. All right. But you don't get all the shower of graffiti coming out of this one. We'll have to ask him to build that in. So, good. Okay. Hey, so two things. One is that I now have upcoming interviews as a page on my Composer's Corner site. So instead of me having to remind people to email them all the time, if you go to this page, you will see the upcoming interview. So I have one with Lisa Swerdlow on June 20th. I approached her about 3 years ago, and unfortunately her wife was passing away, was dying, struggling with cancer. And actually at the time she didn't know she was going to pass away, but she knew she was struggling with cancer, and so she said, I can't really interview now. But her partner did pass. And the thing that came out of it that was wonderful is she's got a beautiful album dedicated to her, you know, with just a whole bunch of beautiful tunes. And Kimberly Stark, Starkey is actually a very interesting person, very talkative and a lot of fun. And then this fellow, John Albert Thomas, July 11th, he's actually been building custom songs for people to help them with their crises in their life, their mental crises. And he's helped actually turn some people around that were struggling, and actually is using music as a healing tool, which I think is just a wonderful thing. So if you go to acomposerscorner.com, and then you don't have to remember the rest of the link, you just click on upcoming interviews. And then I'm going to eventually have a registering scheme, but for right now, if you just click on that link, it'll join you right into the Zoom meeting at that moment. So you don't have to register in advance. So that is that. And can you see the screen now with the selection of different songs?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I am going to let you folks vote tonight on which of these I should play, because I'm going to be playing all of these next Wednesday. So what would you folks like? Pick out one song and I'll play it tonight.
Oh, tonight. A lot of big ones on there.
Of course, the Consolation number 3 is something I always like to hear.
The Moonlight Sonata?
The Consolation
Yeah, the Liszt.
number 3, the Liszt.
Can you give us some background? What was he doing at that point?
Oh, the Consolation number 3. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Except, how did you say it?
Well, Consolation.
Consolation. I love that. Yes. You know, I don't know the story specifically behind this piece, but it's a beautiful piece, and it's actually one of his less complicated pieces. He's had, you know, he writes some incredibly complicated music. As you know, I'm learning right
Yes.
now. I'm working on the
Yes.
Campanella, which, by the way, I don't have a lot of progress to report this week because I've been working on all these, but I'm getting more comfortable now with that next section. I'm ready to move on to the next one soon. And this actually inspired me to write the piece Solitude, which I've talked about before. What's beautiful about this piece too, though, he's got this wonderful lilting kind of 2 against 3 happening quite a bit throughout it, and it just gives it this brilliant, just beautiful, mellifluous, wonderful sound. And he explores the melody in a couple of different places, and it's just very sweet. And he does some wonderful, wonderful musical things with it. Just absolutely love it. So let's play that. Well, Consolation number 3.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get out of this share mode here and get back to, I just want to make sure Musicians is on. I think I have stereo on, so hopefully that still works. I'm going to now change to my overhead camera. There we go. Let me just do a mic check on the sound and make sure it's coming through okay. I'm going to take off my microphone. Well, you know what? I just realized my wife moved the microphone. I don't know. That microphone was right in the piano. I don't know how
Yeah,
that
it sounded good.
It sounded good there?
Well, but you'd need to drop the level. It might have distorted when you
Yeah. So
louder.
let
But
me how
do
it
your
sounds.
normal setup, whatever you're comfortable with.
How's it sound now?
That's fine.
How's that? Is that okay?
Can you reduce
Is that okay?
turn the volume down a little? It might
Sure.
distort when you get.
Yep, yep. Let's see. Where is the main out? Here we go. Main out. I turned it down about 10%. I turned it down 10%. Tell me if this works. How was that? How was that? Any better?
I think it'll be okay. This isn't a loud piece.
It's still too loud?
Well, I don't want to hold you up,
No, that's all right. I'll lower it a little more.
but you need do you have a control on that microphone?
Yeah, what do you want me to do with it?
Drop that level a little bit.
Okay.
You know, whatever control is
How's
nearest.
that? Is that better?
Well, it's
I'll
here.
drop it a little more. How's that? We'll have to do a sound check next time, you and I, Don. All right.
Yeah, I barely made it. I'm sorry. I had a dinner
No, that's
arrangement,
okay. That's okay. We'll
and
schedule it
I
sometime.
finally terminated it and said I got more important things.
No worries.
The
Thank you.
concert.
Thank you for listening.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you,
certainly
thank
certainly
you.
sounded very nice. Certainly a good candidate for inclusion in your upcoming program.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be playing that Wednesday at 1 o'clock at the Edward King House in Newport. I don't know if you guys are available to go down. That's a bit of a ride, but if you do want to go, let me know. I'll put your name at the door. They usually it's a membership thing, but basically they'll let public in too. Um, just a beautiful piece, and
You
when I
have to turn
first
your
heard it, I
volume
actually.
back up, Andrew.
I'm sorry.
Just turn your volume back up.
Oh, okay.
I mean, your voice,
Microphone. Can you hear me now?
well, your voice went back.
Okay.
It's fine for the piano, but
I need a sound engineer to be monitored the whole time on this thing. So, thank
Yeah,
you for that.
it's very challenging.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let me put myself back in here too. Hang on a second. So, when I first heard that piece, I was at a competition, and Henry Delbo, who won the competition that year, played this amazingly difficult Liszt piece, Hungarian Rhapsody, that was unbelievable. And then he played this right afterwards, and it was just the juxtaposition was so amazing because that piece was crazy, crazy fast. His hands were a blur in the piano. It looked like it wasn't even possible to play with as a robot. It was so amazing. And then he played this beautiful piece that was just so restful. And it's the first time I heard the piece. And so every time I play it, I try to imagine, myself performing it like he did because he just did such a wonderful performance of it. So
Well, that was lovely. It was very restful too.
thank
So
you.
good luck.
Thank you. Peter, were you on for a while? I'm sorry I missed you.
Yeah, I've been listening.
Oh, but you kind of hid the video part of you. You were incognito.
Yes, I was.
Excellent.
I've got to run now, but I wanted to catch
Oh, well, thank you
the
so much.
concert.
It's great to hear from you, Peter. Thank you. Give my best to your lovely wife.
I will. Thanks.
Take care.
And to yours. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my God. So we're excited about going to Newport tomorrow. We have been looking forward to it for a long time. We both need a good vacation, is what it comes down to. So, yeah, one of the challenges that I personally have is, I think I shared that with you, Don, last time. Or, I'm sorry, John, last time that, we have a huge barn, a 3,000 square foot barn, and some of the columns in the basement that are supporting it are a little tenuous, and it's making me a little nervous. And so I went out and bought 4 18,000-pound lolly columns. They don't weigh that much. That's how much they could support. And I put them under some key beams that were kind of wobbly. And so at least on vacation, I'm going to know that my barn's at least solid, as solid as it could be. But I'm going to have it jacked up at some point professionally and have a new beam put in or have it readjusted so it looks like it's going to slip right out from under the column. So
Did the columns you bought allow you to adjust the height or the support that they give?
Yeah, what's amazing is you can adjust both the initial height because they have all these different holes aligned. It's like it's a telescoping one. So these things are big, and one telescope's inside the other, and you have these giant pins that are the size of maybe 3 of my finger, well, maybe 2 of my finger. Pretty solid steel pins that go in, and then you have this rotating threaded device on top. However, I've been advised not to try to raise the floor just by twisting that threaded device. So I actually bought 2, and it only cost about $56, a 20-ton, 40,000-pound jack for $56. So you can just basically put this underneath, the flooring and just pump it, and it'll move, maybe it only moves about 3 inches or so, but it'll move 40,000 pounds. So I'm going to use that to actually raise things back to where they should be, and then simultaneously have some friends of mine twisting the threads of these lolly columns to catch up with it.
have a railroad jack.
Huh?
So I have a railroad jack.
Is that what that is? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what your friend has, but this is, they used it to lift railroad cars.
Oh.
So it's
But
got,
Ev, I should probably you probably be good at helping me, or at least giving me some advice on this, right? I should have you come over and look at it sometime.
I'm probably not going to repair it. I got enough to do with my own.
Oh
bike.
yeah, no, yeah, no. I just
However,
want
I-
to make sure I'm doing it the right
I'd be
way.
happy to look at it with you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we could have a party. A little
sometimes
picnic,
an independent eye works,
yeah.
and
A
I've
collapsing barn party.
done a lot of.
A barn raising party.
A barn raising. There you go. A barn raising party. I
It's
love
one
it.
of your words.
Well, you
Yeah.
have to be careful of that because
Yeah.
yeah, the party part is,
I would think that the columns that you just described, you might consider keeping as a permanent solution, since you can fine tune them as things change or the building settles a little bit or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
think I'll always have them there as additional support, but they do emphasize that they are meant to be temporary. What I
Yeah.
do plan to do is I have a friend of mine that seems to know a lot about this. He said, what you really want to do is you want to get these literally steel pipes about this big, 8 inches, 12 inches, with thick walls, and fill it with concrete.
Mm.
And that will be your permanent column.
Yeah.
So once you get it to the right height, you want to dig a hole 42 inches down below the frost line, fill it with rock, cement, concrete, and make a real good, stable base. And then put this thing on top of it so it fits perfectly at the height you really want it to be. So you first have to get it up to that height. And you put this monster thing in with probably, that by itself probably weighs 500 pounds. And that'll be a very solid support. And he's talking about putting at least 3 or 4 of those in various places in the basement. So that's going to be a big project.
What do you use your barn for?
Right now, we're not using it for much. It's used for storage, but Hillary would like to have it become a store. So she's got it. She's decorating it to be a store. But I don't want people actually in there until I know. You know, I want to have a structural engineer come and say approve that this thing will stand up
Sure,
to
yeah.
30, 40 people.
Hillary's,
There's many sections to the barn. There's another section that the prior owner claimed he could park a car in, but one of the columns has dropped at least 10 inches from where it should be, and the floor is tilted a bit. And I'm thinking, I really think I want this thing to be flat and perfect before I start parking cars in it. So.
one of the things you have to be careful of if you have a very aggressive jack is jacking all at once, because you could break things.
Yeah, in fact, I've been told that you should really only raise a
You're
floor
lifting
about
up
1/4 of an inch a week or something,
That's right. You
Yeah.
do it over a couple of months.
just to let it settle, everything to settle in, because you don't want, if the beams have gone in like this a bit, you don't want to push out the walls and have everything pop out on you.
Well,
So-
the way things collapse, they don't necessarily go back the same way because the collapse or the failure is somewhat random. That doesn't mean the original build was wrong. That's things don't come down in the reverse order.
Yeah,
So if you just try to push it back, and that's when you can literally break things.
yeah.
Heavy
That's
stuff.
good advice. Thank you. One of the amazing things about these old barns, this barn was built in 1880, is that, as you know, they didn't use spikes back then. They actually used wooden dowels that were, I think they were green chestnuts, maybe green chestnut stems. And so what they'll do is they organically bind with the rest of the wood, and you can't separate the wood. You have to. You can't pull out a nail. It's there's no longer a nail there. It's almost like an organically solid piece of wood in all dimensions, and so you have to literally cut it out. So it's a pretty sturdy situation, but still, even though as a whole it's in pretty good shape. If the bottom, if a key bottom column collapsed, that would not be good.
They're challenging. They're fun. So
Yeah. So that's got to be my challenge for the next 6 months. We'll probably have a blow-by-blow description of my progress every week on that one. So anyway, thank you all. Does anyone want to share anything that they're up to this next couple of weeks? I regret I won't be here next Thursday because I'll be on vacation, but I will send you a link to something fun that you can watch and say, oh, you know what I will do? I'll record my concert on Wednesday and hopefully do a better job this time, because last time we did it with Hillary's phone and we had a hard time converting it. I'll just record it on my phone and I can upload it to the YouTube probably for Thursday, so that you guys can watch that on Thursday if you'd like.
that would be
fun.
nice.
That would be a lot of fun. Excellent. Well, thank you all for coming again. I really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Have a great week.
Yeah.
Yep.